Saturday Night Live last night.
Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, 3-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Pucker's New Jersey Devils podcast. Let's go Devils!
7:30 in the morning on a Sunday.
Welcome to my world.
Yes, this is for you, Tony. What time is it by you, Tone?
It is 2:30 in the afternoon.
Wow, looks like there's sun's out, and
nice, reasonable. He's already done stuff.
Yeah, he's been up now for hours.
Walked 10,000 steps. I'm good.
Yeah.
Did you go to the gym already?
We just bought a treadmill in our house. We go to the gym too, but we just bought one of these nice treadmills in here. So
very cool.
Nice.
How you guys doing, man?
Good. I ran 2 miles, scratched my nuts, fed the dogs, got some coffee.
That was the scratching the nuts and feeding the dogs
today?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, for real? You fucking ran 2 miles?
No, I haven't run in fucking 10 years.
I always use the line from Real Genius when people ask if I run. I say, only when being chased.
No,
it
scratched my nuts, took a shit, and came downstairs.
Did you guys happen to see Saturday Night Live last night?
No,
I
was on it.
Fucking wonderful! You guys have to see it.
I saw a clip of they did a mock of the Zelensky Trump meeting.
Disgusting.
Yeah. Yep. He's a prick. And I'm not talking about Zelensky. So go ahead. What was Saturday Night Live?
Well, it was that. It was exactly what he said. It was perfect. They had, I mean, I think we're pretty good about not talking about that shit on the show usually, but goddamn,
by all means,
what a mess.
It's fucking talk about it.
I just think of some names, right? I'll mention some names and tell me who you think of. Okay, Benedict Arnold, Lando Calrissian, Jafar from Aladdin, Scar from Lion King, the habanero Hitler. Oh wait,
I don't know if I could put Lando Calrissian in with those guys.
I don't know. Okay? Were you not pissed on Empire?
Well, yes, but he made it right. I mean, he really only stabbed him in the back if you go by the movie about 6.5 minutes. And then he let them all, and then he gave them all, got them to their ship, got them out of there, and then ended up helping them blow up a Death Star.
What about Cypher from the Matrix? Is that kind of
Cypher was a fucking traitor.
Sold out all his people.
Cypher was a flat-out traitor. Sold them all.
He was a flat-out traitor. I just can't put Lando in the category. Everybody else, bad guys and traitors. Yes.
I thought of Star Wars when I watched the other day, and I thought of you guys because I felt like you had like Jabba the Hutt, Salvacious B. Crumb. We have all the characters. You throw in what was the son from Austin Powers? Scott Evil. You have the whole crew there. I mean, it's fucking unbelievable. That was disgusting the other day, man. That was absolutely.
Who's Crumb? Is that J.D. Vance?
Yeah, it would be Vance, right? I mean, he's tied to the fucking side to him.
Augustus.
And then he just Trump just bites his head off and eats him.
He was going. I heard Vance was going skiing last night over in Vermont, and it was greeted with a shitload of people to tell him to fuck off.
I just don't see how it's becoming so clear that Trump answers to Putin. Like I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy, but like the conspiracies that he's compromised somehow by Russia it's really hard not to like look at everything he's doing and be like, yeah, he's basically aligning himself exactly with Russia.
Okay, but you said compromised. That Russia like I don't think Russia has anything on Trump. I think
he definitely got peed on by a hooker.
Well, yeah, which I don't think he gives a shit. I mean, he would turn around and say, "Yes, I let him fucking piss on me," and whatever. I don't think the man has any shame. Is my point.
Maybe Russia agreed to buy some property at the Riviera.
But I think
he's doing like Mr. Roper.
But
that's how he got bailed out. When he was in bankruptcy in Russia, a bunch of oligarchs and billionaires bought up a lot of his properties and helped finance a lot of his properties in New York in the 80s, right?
But like I was saying, I don't think Putin has anything on him. I just think he wants to be Putin. He wants America to be Russia, and that's it. He looks at Russia and goes, "Well, Putin can do whatever he wants." He has an answer to anybody. If there's any kind of unrest, civil unrest, he squashes it. Why can't I do that? That's what I should be able to, because this is America, and in America we have rights, and our citizens are the ones that are supposed to, control the government, and it's supposed to be for us and by us, and it's unfortunately that things are changing, and I'm
To
not happy
overlook
about it.
genocide, man, is disgusting. I live obviously, I know we got to talk some hockey, but I live in a part of the world that's closer to this than anybody else that
Yeah,
probably
you
listens
do,
to this
dude. You
show.
you
are
do.
right next to Ukraine.
Yeah, so we're over here, and I tell you, it's crazy though because a lot of people are like, "Oh, uh, are you guys scared?" It's actually the opposite. Everyone's really pissed off right now, and I feel like a lot of these European countries are realizing, which I felt like the minute that the presidency changed was, you couldn't count on this guy anyway. At the end of the day, you know. And now everyone realizes they got to stick together over here because it's a when I hear people, the thing is, you can believe whatever you want in life, but like when you justify genocide and you make it seem okay, what is that vandal? Their bad record? It just makes fucking sense, and it's disgusting. I mean,
I
I
just,
don't.
I just I don't understand how people can twist themselves in the knots to try and defend things. Like I criticize, Biden all the time. I
Yeah, I
criticize
wasn't a
Obama
fan.
all the time. Like it's just like, but Ukraine gave up their nuclear arsenal to in exchange for assurances that Russia wouldn't invade them and the U.S. would protect them. And we're now violating that treaty. What is like the Budapest memorandum or something like that. So I get that NATO is expanding eastward, but maybe don't be a dictator, and then that won't be much of a problem.
No.
It's just like don't try to go back to some 1300s like this is our land type of shit. He already took Crimea, and Obama didn't do shit about it. So it's like now what we're supposed to just give up part of a sovereign nation just because they invaded it and said it's ours now. Like that's not how this shit works.
And that was a
Like,
setup, man. That was just
I think so too.
come on. I mean, you know.
Yep.
Um, but that SNL skit was pretty funny with
That's
Mike Myers as Musk.
yes.
Mike Myers as Musk with the chainsaw and he's
I
dancing
gotta
around
watch
line.
it.
Now, could
It's
you
very
imagine
funny.
could you imagine when Biden was running? Like I said, I mean, I wasn't a big Biden guy, but I sure wasn't the other side. But I will say this: could you imagine if Biden had a sidekick like Musk running around the White House? Could you imagine how those people would have done fucking backflips and had heart attacks?
They're still freaking out. I was watching something the other day on fucking Fox, because at work they fucking keep that shit on, that propaganda garbage on. But it was like one of some congressperson going on about how all about going after Hunter Biden and this and that and the unlawful pardons, and
The
I'm like,
laptops.
are you guys seriously, like, how much money you've had now control of Congress for what, 4 years now?
Yeah,
Going on.
James Comer, the oversight secretary.
Right. And yeah, him. And I'm like sitting there and I'm like, for 4 years, you've spent millions of dollars investigating this dude's fucking laptop and showed us all pictures of his dick, more than we need to fucking know.
It's a good looking dick, Hunter, by the way. Good job on that.
And holy shit. And you're still now, this is where our priorities are. This is where our priorities are. We have grocery prices going through the fucking roof. We have home sales hitting an all-time low. People in federal jobs are being laid off by the thousands upon thousands. And what is our government doing? We're going to go after Hunter Biden. Right? Okay.
I'm
All right. So
and
yeah,
I'm all for government efficiency. Like we all know, like it's a very inefficient like organism.
yes.
But like the people they're laying off like park rangers,
You
and
don't.
then the nuclear security people, and then the people
Right.
that were overseeing like Ebola research, all the US aid people, they're just left out to dry. Like in foreign countries with no way to get them back. I read about one pregnant woman that's like in some war-torn country that's like, fuck, I don't know what to do. I don't know how I'm going to get myself back to America. Like it's fucked up. They should be taking a scalpel to something they're taking a chainsaw to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
So
But because I have to go to work soon, let's stop
Yeah.
the political talk, because we probably
Yeah.
pissed off half of our listeners.
we did.
Hey,
yeah.
listen, we're sorry, guys. If you are supporters of, the right, and you think that we're just fucking crazy, all right, there's nothing I can say to you. The biggest Trump supporters, I understand there are a lot of people that just like him, but I'm talking about his diehards, his fucking cult members. Like, it is your entire identity. So that's why I don't think many of them listen to us, because they don't follow hockey. They don't follow anything else. All they do is follow him. It's like their entire identity is based on that one man. And that's kind of frightening. But anyway, we're going to talk. Curtis Lazar scored a goal yesterday,
Number
guys.
two this
Indeed.
year.
Number
Indeed.
2. So I guess he's done for the year, right? He shouldn't.
Oh, man.
He's on pace to maybe score in the third round of the playoffs if we make it. But Curtis Lazar with the big goal. I liked last night's game, man. I liked the way they played start to finish. I really don't have anything to bitch about on this. It was very tidy. They controlled most of the play. They didn't get hemmed in too much. I thought that Dawes was great when he had to be. That fucking save he made. I don't even remember who it was on, but it was in the third period. It was on Cooley.
I think it was on Cooley, yeah.
Coolio.
Coolio.
Yeah, he was that was a gangster's paradise right there, Tim.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Second period was probably the worst period for the Devs, but they looked good,
Yeah, they kind of they did this bend but don't break thing. That was a fast game. Like, Utah's not a fucking joke. Like, that's going to be a really, really good team.
I like that team.
Probably next year they have some really good young players. I saw people saying like, "Oh, they're out of the playoffs." Yes, I get it. Like, we have to beat the teams that are in front of us. Like, they're creeping up. They're now 6-3 or something like that over their last 10. We got on the board first, and that changes the entire complexity of the game, and they need to start doing that more. It allowed them to kind of settle into their defensive structure. And yeah, Tony was right. I think the second period was a little bit like, hold on to your butts. But at no point was I really ever all that concerned about this game. I was like, yeah, maybe can we get a goal here, guys? But the way Nico Dawes has been playing, like, the kid he's been unbelievable coming back. Like, I don't know how we can send this kid down. I mean, he's made 85 for 88 in the games that he's played. That's a 966 save percentage.
What has he done? 5 games this year, Tim?
I think 5. Yeah, 4 or 5. I forget. I
3 and 0. I just don't know if he's done 5.
But yeah, and a lot of things happened that were well overdue. Curtis Lazar scoring. You want to hear a terrifying stat? That was the first center not named Nico or Jack to score since November 30th.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. But it was good. Nico, the captain, got on the board. Timo, it's March.
That was great seeing Timo.
It's Timo March.
And Dylan, man, I got to mention Dylan. I mean, I love this guy. I mean, was not the fight wasn't like some big hockey fight highlight, but you know what? I thought was really cool is if you guys noticed when he was coming off the ice, Luke and Jack were pumped up. Like,
Luke was jazzed. I've never seen that kid more excited for something than that. That was
Luke,
really cool.
That was a little scary last night.
Yeah, it was. I was watching it on delay. I was in like maybe 5 minutes or so and left in the second period, and the third period was just starting in real time. And I was texting Tim where I was at the game, and he's like, something bad happens. And I'm like, okay, I'm figuring an injury. And about 2 minutes after that, I see, Luke leaving, and then he texts me right away like, oh, he's out on the ice for the third. So I was okay. I could rest. I didn't have to fucking freak out about it.
You didn't have to deal with the misery that the rest of us did.
No, I didn't.
I was like, that's it. Season's over. We're fucking done.
I mean,
if Luke's out, like, that's really fucking bad. But that's the third time he's done that. Remember, he did that against Philly, where he got fucking annihilated last year. And then went off after the second, and then just magically appeared again in the third. Hogan. And he did the same thing, I think, against Colorado when he got fucking pummeled by Ross Colton.
Yes.
Missed the rest of the second and then came back for the third. I was like, all right, Luke, can we stop being so dramatic here, man? Like, the way he came off the ice with his arm dangling, I was like,
I thought he ripped his pec like right off his bone, like the way I'm like, this is a Dougie thing. Like, he's not going to be back until Christmas, This is bad. It wasn't. But I do have a question. And Tim, you kind of just raised this, and I'm curious what you guys think. Is there a world in any chance that Allen gets moved before Friday? There are some teams that are goalie needy. I mean, does the Edmonton Oilers say, you know what, we need a goalie? And does Tom Fitzgerald have the balls to send Jake Allen somewhere and leave Nico Dawes in backing up Markstrom? That's, of course, if Markstrom's healthy, he's ready to go before Friday and, stuff like that, which I think he will be starting within the next 2 games, Markstrom. But is that a world where that could possibly happen?
That is a very good question. I'm looking up something on Puckpedia. Give me a second.
What do
So
you think, Tone?
I'll go. Yeah. I don't think they'll move him. I know what you're saying. It wouldn't be a bad. Actually, it wouldn't be a bad. If there's a value in them, there wouldn't be bad. And I will say, like, between one thing we haven't dealt with this year is the goaltending issues that we've dealt with in the past. Because even though there's been some issues this year, but I think Allen's been good for us for what we needed from him.
Very good.
Markstrom will
Yeah.
be back against Winnipeg, I believe. I don't think he'll be back tonight, but I think it'll be against Winnipeg. They bring him. I just don't. It would make sense, Chris, but for some reason I don't see them doing that. Now it matters what other moves they're going to make. I mean, because last night was great. Last night felt good. The problem is, what's tonight going to feel like? Because this is a
That's the
very
key, right?
Jekyll and
Because we
Hyde
can't
kind
put
of
it
fucking
together.
thing. Yeah, you can't put
We
it together.
cannot put it together.
And with Columbus I'm telling you, man, I didn't think if you go back to when the season started, I had them buried. I mean, and they're really believing in themselves right now. If you guys saw the game last night,
Yeah, that was cool. That was a cool outdoor game. They did some
Yeah.
really good things.
yeah.
They didn't
So I
look at
mean,
it at all.
but I don't know if they're going to move him. It makes sense to do it. I mean, and I'm starting to wonder I was thinking about this week is with the way that some of these guys have played this year. We don't have as many trade chips as we had 2 months ago. And that's why I thought we should have made some moves earlier. Because I think there is some, I think Mercer his value is down right now. And I like Mercer, but I think 2 months ago you could have got a lot more,
Yeah, and then last night with Mercer, like suddenly, like he had probably his best game that I've seen him play in like 3-4 months, and it's because he played with Nico, and it's like this guy needs a play driving center. Like Nico Hischier looked amazing last night. He was
Did
like,
he get his 400th point last night? I heard someone say,
yeah,
okay,
he did. He did.
It's crazy if you think about it seems like he was just drafted.
I know, right?
know.
God, like it just makes my knees hurt just thinking about how he's aging. So Allen has a 3-team no trade clause. So that's not extensive by any means. Imagine being one of those 3 teams. It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it's probably teams he's been to already. Like I would bet it's like Montreal, St. Louis, and I don't know where else he's.
Yeah, and there's something about a time frame where you can't go back to Montreal, but I don't think that would be it. But the top 6 I think looked like it was designed to look. With Jack Bratt, Palat. And that Nico Timo Mercer line looked really good last night. So now I'm like, well, shit. Like, Mercer was our best trade chip, but I think he still is in terms of freeing up money. But with Jonas on long-term IR, we do have his contract on there. And one thing that Fitz did that was pretty smart, actually cap-wise, and I actually looked this up because long-term IR isn't as simple as I think people think it is. So the LTIR money you accrue is based on how much you were spending at that moment. So if you were under the cap $2 million, you kind of lose that $2 million, so to speak, because it's only that because he makes 3.4, so it's only 3.4 over what you were spending. So that's why Fitz called everybody up, and that's why Casey's up and Nemec is up and Dawes is up, because now he's about as close to the cap as possible. So if he does make moves and sends those guys down, he has that extra money to play with. So he'll have about $6 million, I think, maybe a little bit under that, to use for to use at the deadline. And then if Mercer is the one that gets moved out, suddenly that's 10, and that's 2 really good fucking players that you can bring in. You can bring for that. But I think with that line together, I think I don't think it's going to happen. The guy we do need to get rid of, and I saw your reaction is Palat, man. Like this fucking guy stinks.
He really does stink. I mean, I hate to say it because he's had such a good career before coming to New Jersey, and he was so highly respected and did some great things. But this dude seriously cannot buy a fucking goal. He would have, if a competent person was in his position last night, they would have had 2 at least. Mm-hmm. I mean, plays just die on his stick, and it's a bad pass. It's can't get his stick loose and get to a loose puck in front. Can't out battle a guy in front of the net. That was last night, and I understand he does things good, but whatever. I'm just saying, like, you have such a dynamic line with Jack and Bratt, and then this fucking dog is on it, and it's like, come on, man. It's just he's dragging the whole line down.
Like that
I
one.
like
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Tony.
no, I like Palat, but I agree with you. Like, and I look back. Remember, I was in Tampa for a bunch of those years, watching those
Yeah,
games at the stadium, and he had a hell of a team built around him. When you had, from Kucherov to Point to like, Druin before. I mean, he had a team. So I mean, we're a little different, maybe. I don't know. Like I think if the contract wasn't like it is, I think we'd have a little more of a window for it. But yeah, it's I could see
Yeah.
it. So
it's $6 million that would be really come in handy right about now.
Well,
But earlier in the year, he was doing these kind of little things to get he was pacing a guy along the boards to get a puck out of the zone to free Jack and Brad on a 2-on-1. He was getting in on the forecheck first to free up the puck to get it to Jack or Brad behind the net so they could set something up. He's not doing that anymore. Like, I just don't see it anymore. Like, the puck's dying on a stick. Like, that one opportunity he had. Like, I know I'm just like a fat beer league hero now, but come on, I can lift the puck, man. Like,
yeah,
you're
when he just shot it right into his
he was like
thigh, yeah.
he's like just jamming it. Like, I wish if Bobby was here, he'd tell you like that's what probably his kids' games look like. It's just a bunch of little kids just jamming at the puck at the goalie's pads.
Yeah,
Like, it's like, come on, man, you just pull that out a second and just flip it up. Like, it's not hard to do.
I completely agree. And I mean, another guy I thought had a pretty bad game last night was Stefan Nason, but I'm not going to shit all over Stefan Nason because I like Nason. He had a bad game. Okay, big deal. We still won. But again, because we do have to wrap this thing up kind of earlier today, I do want to ask you guys, like, none of that matters what happened last night. As good as we are saying that we enjoyed how well they played and all that, none of it matters until tonight. If they go into Vegas tonight and get lit up like Vegas did to us at our barn, it's all for naught. Then it doesn't matter. Like, you have to start stringing this shit together. Like, yeah, Mercer looked great with Nico and Timo last night. Is he going to look great tonight? Is Allen going to play well tonight?
I put fucking Dawes in, man. I would put Dawes in. I know they're not going to. It's not going to happen, but I would put
he
Dawes
only
in
had like what 22 or 23 shots on
I would
goal
put him
last
in.
night. So
They had some decent pressure and some good chances, so he was pretty active. But again, he's 23. Like, you should be able to handle, like 18-year-old kids go and play like 3 games in a day in tournaments. Like, it's you should be able to handle this.
And these games we have 21 games left, I believe it is. It is so important now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know people are making moves. Panthers got Seth Jones yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah, I did.
They got rid of what's it, Knight?
Yep. Night
I don't get that one. Why are you walking away from Spencer Knight? I like Spencer Knight. I thought he was going to be their answer after Bobrovsky left. I don't know about that. It just seems odd that they got rid of him.
Yeah, I mean, the couple of things that I think is they needed probably to upgrade their decor a little bit. And I think, Seth Jones gets a raft of shit, but, most of that is because he makes so much money and is on a really terrible team. Like, he signed with Chicago thinking that they were going to kind of evolve, and then they tore it all down the second he wound up there. Like, they're a really bad team. And he was getting, 25, 28 minutes a night, just getting absolutely cooked because everybody else on his team fucking sucks. But he's actually a pretty good player. Like, he's aged a little bit. He's got some lateral movement issues, and usually it was rush chances that really kind of hurt him. But that's because the rest of his team sucks. That's how you get kind of burned on rush chances. But I think playing in a lesser role on a really good structured team, I think this is really going to rejuvenate his career. They did the same thing with what's his name, Oliver Ekman-Larsson in Florida.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be good for him, and the Blackhawks get their goalie of the future. I like tonight too.
Yeah.
And the Blackhawks retained 25% for 5 years, so it's $12.5 million. I think they were. Which is a lot to retain, and that's why it was Knight in the first. I don't understand why Florida's given up on their goaltending, but they must have something else in the pipeline because
it was a 4th round, wasn't it? I don't think it was a first.
It was a first.
Was it a first?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was a first rounder in 26, and this is a weird clause where it's like, unless it becomes the 27th. So Florida can basically say, you know what, fuck you, Chicago. We decided to trade that first to someone else instead of giving it to you. So no more first come, first serve. You get the 27th first. So.
And that's sorry, Tim. Go ahead.
No. That's kind of it. I guess the one thing is, the Florida goaltending department is run by Luongo, who they must have some sort of plan in place. But we were saying that about Marty for the past couple of years, and it wasn't looking good for us. So
I kind of wonder, you look at that division, what they landed. You got Florida is up by, what is it, 77, Toronto 76, Tampa Bay 74. So they make the move. And this is what we go back to New Jersey again with this. So if you look at our division now, you have Columbus moving up. Carolina's kind of fucking up right now, right? Like you kind of wonder who's going to flip flop there. This is why the devil. So did Florida say to themselves, we're worried about this season right now only. We'll deal with the rest of the shit next season. Let's make the moves we have to make our team a better contender. Because as we've said for months now, you got to make moves, right?
Yes.
The market is much tighter than we think even. It's not going to be easy to make a lot of moves because everybody needs something. And there's not a lot of people going to be willing to give away a lot right now. Because you even have, like you said, teams that we didn't expect to even be in it are in it right now. Like, I'm not going to be surprised if Washington pulls something off. I don't know if they have to even, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do what a team like Boston did a couple years ago and Boston grabbed like a bunch of dudes and it really screwed them up.
I wouldn't be surprised if we end up playing fucking Columbus in the first round.
Which is scary, actually, which is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and Columbus, they're going to go out and buy some pieces. They might be a sneaky home for Renton.
68 points, man, only. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, they're good, and that's what's been kind of frustrating about this run that Devils have had the past couple months is like, thank God Carolina's, fumble fucking the puck too, because we're still in striking distance of second. That was one of my predictions over the past couple episodes is that we're actually going to pass them. Might be a little wild, but
we're there now.
It's right there. It's right there. We're tied with them. They have one game in hand. But, Tony's exactly right. It's, there's Vancouver, Calgary, St. Louis, and Utah. Those are 4 teams fighting for the last wild card spot in the West. Anaheim's a little down. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's 5 teams in the West that should be selling. And in the East, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams within 5 points of the last wild card spot, and that team that's at the bottom of that, the Islanders, like, Lou's going to be like, we have a chance, and he's probably not going to sell.
Hey, Sorokin had a goal last night, right? Hey.
He did. That was a fun. That was a fun joke. That Sorokin had more goals in 2025 than Hodder.
I was going to say,
Hala, Tatar, or Hala and Lazar.
Or Lazar until last night.
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you guys, what do you think about the move that the Chris Drury made yesterday for the Rangers? So they got Paterko from Colorado. I mean, is that where?
No, it's Calvin DeHaan. What's that thing?
Calvin DeHaan, and they sent who the hell they send out?
Lindgren.
And who else?
5 players, right, in that one.
Oh, Jimmy Vesey.
Yeah, Lindgren and Vesey. Yeah,
I like Vesey, but
I do too.
Yeah, I always like Vesey.
Is this just we were dumping expiring contracts and we just want to, give ourselves more flexibility in the off season when we really put our chips in the middle and try and get this thing righted? Or is this them trying to make a run this year? I don't know if I understand this trade a whole lot. Does somebody want to explain it to me?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's both. Like, I think it's them like kind of saying, waving a little bit of a white flag, like prepping for next year, but also saying like, hey, we're still actually in this a little bit. Like, we can still stay competitive. Lindgren was like one of the most maligned players in New York, man. Like that guy sacrificed his body and soul for that team for over the past couple of years. But, it's kind of trash in, trash out, expiring contracts, teeing up something. They have a ton of cap space too. They're in no position to go all in this year. I just don't see it.
What do you think of that move, Tone? I'm sorry, Tim.
No. I kind of rambled a little bit, and Jax is like all up in my business. Right
now. I think it was just to move around some people. I think that's pretty much. I kind of agree with Tim on that.
Yeah, it was weird. It's like listening to some Ranger fans, and they were just going bananas. Like, we fleeced them. Like, we just completely fleeced the Abs, and we got and I don't know how much this moves the needle on that. I mean, and all right, the Abs got like you said, the thing that I've noticed about like the Rangers and Chris Drury this year, he got rid of a lot of like those heart and soul type of pieces. Like you said, Lindgren. I remember those couple playoff runs that they made it to the conference final. Like this dude was a fucking warrior out there.
It's a guy you
I
want on
mean,
your team.
yes, and that's the kind of dude you want to follow in the battle. And he's gone, and Truba's gone, and even VZ, who plays that kind of hard nosed pain in the ass game. He's gone. I like Jimmy VZ too. I mean, he would have been a guy that if he wasn't on the Rangers, maybe you can get him back from Colorado now, and at least that I mean, I think that helps our fourth line better than anybody we have on our fourth line right now. I'll take Jimmy VZ over him, but. I don't know. I just, listening to Ranger fans going on like this was, the greatest trade ever. And I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, this seems like more just a contract dump and, getting rid of some aging contracts. That's it.
They all hated Lindgren so much. Like they just, they're like, yeah, we appreciate what he did, but he was a shell of himself type of reaction. So
yeah, we've all.
When you have the guy on your team, like look at Severson, right? I mean, if you have a guy, sometimes when you watch a guy every night, the hatred comes in deep on some guys, and like other people don't get it or understand it, but when you see him every day, it can
You're
happen.
right.
Yeah. Columbus fans are finding out real quick about our buddy.
But shit, when we had, but I will say with Severson, that last run we had, I mean, that last, whatever it was, man, he actually was decent for us. The last season we had him was probably one of his better seasons with New Jersey.
Yeah, he shelters minutes, put him up. Yeah, you put him in the third pair, shelters minutes against worse competition, and he can keep it together.
Yeah. He played great in the playoffs. I mean, he was one of our better defenders against the Rangers. I thought he did. He had a really good, nice playoff. But he got his 8-year deal. He got paid. So good for him. And now he's on a fucking team that, not for nothing, Columbus has just as much of a shot in the East as anybody else. Yep. And I think anybody, if they take the Blue Jackets lately, are going to do it at their own peril because that is a real team. They're fast. They have great goaltending. They have good defense. They're starting to get healthier now. That's a dangerous team right there. I'd rather play at this point. I think I'd rather play the Canes than the Jackets.
Maybe.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge thing. It's like like we were just saying like 20 minutes ago. I don't want, like, I'm excited after last night. Hey, yeah. It's just, man, there's been nothing strung together this year to make me feel like I have to remember that tomorrow morning I could be waking up pissed off, and especially with this team this year. So,
yeah, 100%. I think you look at their last 15 to 20 games. I think it's literally win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss.
Last 5, the last 10, it was 5 wins, 5 losses.
Yeah, nice, lovely. I was taking notes for my recap. I'm very excited to write my recap today because somebody's phone going off.
Yeah, do you guys hear that?
Might be my flashlight. Wait 1 second. It's ready.
Battery's charged.
It's ready to go.
Is that what it was? Your flashlight?
It was my phone on vibrate. Yeah.
I'm very excited for my. Oh God, look at my frozen picture.
Insert dick here.
Yeah. Speaking of flashlights, I get to use a quote from Point Break for my recap title, which is I'm very happy about.
And I know you got to go, Chris. You guys mentioned Gene Hackman.
Oh, that's just, no, we didn't. Go ahead.
Young Frankenstein. I mean, well, come on. I mean, like the French Connection, Royal Tannenbaums. I mean,
did it.
Come on, man. That's a bummer.
That story's getting crazier and crazier too as time goes on.
Why? What are you saying now? I've been working.
He was dead for 2 weeks. Did it.
He was dead for 2 weeks.
And then his wife was also dead for a while, but she was surrounded by pills in her bed, and the dog was in the closet, also dead. They ruled out carbon monoxide. It's looking very suspicious. Yeah. No, I did not see how the dog died. It just starved to death in the closet. Maybe she locked the dog in the closet or something.
Oh my God.
This is fucking horrible person.
What a fun episode.
The dog outside.
Ending it with a bang.
Let the dog out at least. Jesus
I know.
No, there's something fun I was going to say, Devil's Wise.
About Gene Hackman? Forgot the Quick and the Dead.
David Johansen died. The Unforgiven.
Utah, get me 2.
Oh, Utah, get me 2.
Lex Luthor.
Okay.
Chris, that's right. Lex
That's
Luthor.
right. He did play Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Was it
Get Shorty?
Poseidon Adventure.
Hunt for Red October?
No, that was Sean Connery.
No, sorry. He did the other submarine movie. With,
all old guys look the same now.
He did the other.
Heads?
No, he did the other submarine movie with Denzel.
Denzel was that the K9 Widowmaker?
No, that movie.
Denzel was in a sub movie.
Yeah. Where they're talking about
Oh.
like they're talking about horses and horse colors. It's like Gene Hackman plays a marginally racist guy and doesn't like Denzel.
I think that Gene Hackman strikes me as a guy who was marginally racist in real life. Like he just kind
probably.
of seems like that crotchety old, somewhat racist. All right, so we're gonna have to wrap this up. I know it's a little bit of a shorter show today, but
Crimson
tonight, guys,
Tide. Crimson Tide.
Crimson Tide. That was a sub movie.
It's a great movie. Have you never
I
seen
never
it?
saw it. No, I never saw it.
David Johansen died too from the New York Dolls. I don't know if anybody.
Did he really?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, that
Brain
sucks.
tumor and cancer finally got him, man. But 75 years old.
Oh, I guess he's not feeling too hot anymore.
No.
Jesus
But yeah,
Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Chris, I started 0 Day last night.
Oh, 0 Day. How is it?
It looks good so far. It's speaking of politics, it's pretty funny because I don't know if you know anything about it, but like De Niro plays the ex-president, and then
He's the ex-president.
He's the ex-president. Then something happens, and then he goes to see the current president, and it's so clearly
Did you get kicked out of the White House?
like this is like, and people are going to lose their fucking minds about the show because it's so clearly a Biden Kamala analogy, anal.
Anal what?
You think
No.
Biden and Kamala are having anal? That's crazy.
Breaking news. Run the
Anal
bar
in
on the bottom, Chris.
oval?
You didn't. But he's an old white-haired guy, and she's a young black woman, and she's the president. It's pretty funny, and she goes to him for advice. So it's like, oh, come on, stop making this shit so transparent. Like this is the propaganda, quote unquote, that people get so mad about.
Like,
Is this on YouPorn, Tim, or was this on a?
It's on a place called xnxx.com.
Oh,
you think Tim watches like that, like those porn parodies, like Kamala and Joe, and oh, what could have been? And Tim's
they have a
just
Bob's
there.
Burger.
I get really, I'm more of a
They really do.
Simpsons anime porn kind of guy.
Oh God, I can't ever. Every time I even see like a little clip, I just scroll off. Like, you're not ruining the fucking Simpsons for me.
You know,
Not with
Marge
this
has a
shit.
bush too. There's no
Homer's
way.
Homer's got a
with that
fucking
hair. My
Homer's got a
God.
thick veiny hog.
You are a fucking thick veiny hog. All right,
How many
what do you guys
listeners are
think
left?
tonight? All right, tonight, Vegas. I think we're gonna lose. I mean, I'm sorry. The way things have been going, this is our MO right now.
Yeah.
And until some changes are made and some new blood is infused into this lineup, I just see them going out today and getting completely rolled by Vegas. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm gonna go, 4-2. Empty netter, third period, Vegas wins, and they kind of make it look a little easy. So that's what I'm going. What do you guys think?
I think it's gonna go wonderful. No, I think that yeah, I mean, Chris, I hate to say it, I mean, that's the first thing I thought this morning too when I saw it. I was like, man, Vegas. I was like, just yeah. I'm gonna, what? I'm gonna be I kind of agree with Chris, but I'm gonna try to be optimistic, and I'm gonna say 4-3 Devils.
Okay.
Please. We need every game is so damn important.
That was the score I was actually going to pick. I think they're going to get fucking dummied. Allen's going to have a great game. They're still going to win 4-3, but it's not going to look pretty. But they're somehow going to figure it out. Timo's going to score again, and we're going to laugh about it. Hall is going to score. We're all going to laugh about it. But and I'm so hopelessly optimistic and delusional about this team. I think, just something seemed to click last night about turning the corner, but I said that also about Nashville. So still riding with my boys. We're going to win 4-3. I'm going to sit on my couch and be positive until there's 1 minute left and they're getting killed. Be like, they can still do it.
You are very blindly optimistic when it comes to this team, but we're going to wrap this thing up because I have to head off to work. This will be posted up soon. So thank you guys so much for checking us out. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, please a subscription, click on the little bell so you can get some notifications. You guys know the routine. Every other person that has a YouTube channel tells you the same exact thing. And if you're listening to us on audio, a 5-star review, a positive comment. It really does help the little podcast that could. If anybody is interested in grabbing one of these awesome Uncle Pucker stickers, all you have to do is go to theunclepuckers.com, click on contact info, put yours in, and we will get it in the mail for you ASAP, free of charge. For Tony and Tim, I'm Chris. We're the Uncle Puckers. We'll see you when we see you.
Peace. We hope.
Fuck you, Valaket.
It's over, Johnny. It's over!
It's